Okay. Yeah, we're back in it, guys. Counting in back into it. Uh,
I'm not.
so yeah, sorry for all of that, guys. As I have no idea why the stream crashed, but it just started to tell me reconnect, even though my internet was there. Laura and I we were hearing each other. I saw you guys in the chat, but yeah, I had no idea.
Let's say third-party software.
Yeah, I would guess so, which would be annoying though. And yeah, Leo 2A4 coming in here. Didn't It didn't change anything at the connection this time, as everything is still fine there. So yeah, at the same time, whilst you guys were gone, situations here not developing amazingly for FatKit, as we saw death
Yeah,
of a cluster bomber, and we saw the Challenger pushing along, and yeah, everything is going pretty all right here for the blue side now. They have full control of the center, coming in with Leo. There is a desperate push trying to go through the north right now, but the Challenger has to still get rid of the Tow 2 before it can move anywhere, and that's going to be somewhat tough. The Rocket Lynxes could help with that. That's a good idea. I like that those are brought in, as them killing the Tow 2 would be massive here, allowing the Challenger to actually take some fights up north. But they're not going for the Tow 2. Oh no. Misuse, and the cluster F-16 gets the kill, the Harrier HE coming in. But most likely gonna die here. Against the F-16 on the other side. Yes, it goes down. Another cluster Jaguar coming in. Trying to get some desperate kills here. Finds one, but runs over Cheetahs. So that's not a healthy situation here either. And the Cheetahs even might find the kill already, as they're just such amazing AA pieces. Oh, the Jaguar barely surviving, but it will be out for such a long time. And yeah, this is not developing in favor of FatKit here right now. They need to get a lot done with what they have in the north, but without the Challenger there, this is going to be nigh impossible.
yeah. I think the big thing, there were two things that I think could have changed this game quite significantly. One of them would have been if the middle had been taken by FatKit from the very start, even if there was only a minimal investment. The points difference there could have actually mattered and could have pushed Kamal to attack before having all of their pieces in place, so to speak, all of the mass of units on board. And the second thing is that FatKit could have just traded better. The fact that 20 minutes in there is a massed three-pronged counterattack by the armor division with large amounts of mechanized infantry all over the place, artillery support, AA, tanks. This is because the armored division was allowed to buy all of those things. The fighting at Oscar was done with a pretty nice combination of units from FatKit's part, but the micro and the positioning was never out there to perfectly get the results out of them. The helicopters could have immediately crossed over the first enemies. They wouldn't. The helicopter's power is that you don't have to stop when you see the enemy recon car. You can just move over and try to get into a better position. Try to aggro just slightly, a little bit further, and the not doing that kind of stuff just allowed for the counterattack to be a little bit too organized, to the defense to be a little bit out of position. And the Dutch, having their great recon and great mech and great HE damage, were out there pretty easily, could punish that. And that punishing was never too punishing until the results of the mediocre trading happened. and that being, of course, the middle counterattack. Now, the middle attack could have been fought against if FatKid had a wider front line. Instead of having all of the units in the middle, there could have been a front line of units, Rover Milans or whatever, creating basically not flanking the enemy with the ATGMs. But all of those ATGMs, at least a bunch of them, were most likely sent to hold Oscar because the engagements there didn't go perfectly. And that way, I think in this match we saw Fat Kid's strategy of subverting expectations almost work out. We were like 2/3 in there. The northern fights would have worked better if the enemy hadn't won the southern fights as well. The northern fights were constantly, repeatedly, almost getting in there, especially with the enemy concentrated in such a tiny area. Now, Fat Kid has at no point bought artillery, and I think that's one of those reasons why you don't buy artillery, even though it would be very necessary, is because you're constantly having to buy reinforcements for the engagements that didn't go well.
Yeah, Rocket here moving forward. There is still an attempt in the north, but there's just so much blue now. The trades in the last 12 minutes really went pretty terribly south, and 3 F-16s can be afforded on the other side. No AA against it anymore. And at the same time, only one challenger left here in the south. The MR10 just getting a bit too efficient, and yeah, just a couple too many miss moves in this game here for Fat Kid. Whilst Kamal was just a bit cleaner the whole game. Like a couple of infantry units just running into autocannon fire a couple too many times. Whilst the infantry of Kamal was always halting in the right moment and allowed to stay in efficient positions. And yeah, the autocannons here just really, really dominant. Never quite found a solution for those, and that leads to a situation like that, just permanent snowball. Like, not a bad game here from Fat Kid, but just always slightly behind, and in the end, the game will get out of control like this. And Fat Kid, you have to give it to them. They stay in the game way longer than most players would, and I like the tenacity, but this game is over. It's completely gone.
Yeah, it's the Dutch are really good at punishing people for overextension or not taking the greatest engagements, especially early on. But on the other hand, the Dutch also, if you get a bunch of kills against them, they're not going to be in the greatest position to come back. Now, like if you had, if Fat Kid had taken out the Leopard 2 for the Leopard 2 down south, for instance, if there had been a cluster bomber, a bomber series of ATGMs, if the ATGMs had positioned themselves in more of a concave formation, perhaps, there was stuff that could have done. There were holes that could be punched into the enemy armor, so to speak. And those holes, if you don't punch them, they're they are going to just slowly get these masses up. I think one of the reasons why Fourth Dutch has been so popular in the meta after the iHawk, after the game, the AA missile iHawk, is because it's actually pretty easy to play. It's simple enough. You can't play it in the way that you play other divisions because your IFVs don't have the ATGMs. Your IFVs are solidly just to hover around your infantry and to provide them with a singular fire support unit. But that's actually kind of easy. That's actually not that difficult to play that game, and you don't need to worry about your positioning of your IFVs as much when they don't have ATGMs. On the other hand, you can just politely tell them to go forward, and them having full penetration, they can actually start doing surprising amount of damage even to hard targets.
Yeah, and GG is called here in the end. Fat Kid gets out of there as the point take was too rough, and in the end, a 2-1 KD here as the snowball just went completely out of control. And that means Kamal moves on to the semifinals in Division 3. And if we have a look into that division, there the semifinals looks pretty interesting as well. There's a Season 2, but let's go for Season 3 quarterfinals here in Division 3, and then the semifinals where we have the cheeky preaky victory as well. over the Ranger. And then we have I1 versus Chicky Pricky and Kamal versus Bloody Knights. And all of these players have shown really strong results this season. So I'm really interested. On the bottom, two Steel Division 2 veterans facing off against each other as well here with Chicky Pricky versus I1. And then on top, Kamal versus Bloody Knight. That's a fun one as well. And Bloody Knight showing really strong form as of late. So that will be a tough matchup for Kamal. So I'm really interested in these semifinals, but those are semifinals that are still to come. There is one semifinal that was already played, and that's the one that we're gonna cast next, as we're gonna move into Division 2, that is, and that's Season 2, Div 2, where we're gonna go
with P.uri.Tanner versus Jeremy.
Yeah, and that is going to be a hell of a matchup. The current most active practicing content creator up there with Jeremy versus the old veteran that always has a trick up his sleeve in Puritana. So this is going to be really exciting. I'm not quite sure who I'm even rooting for there. I still believe I'm slightly with Tanner, but Jeremy is such a nice guy as well. So whoever gets through there absolutely deserved it. I'm looking forward to see them all back in Division 1 next season. But here the semifinal is coming up next. And that's the important one. That's the big one. So don't you run away, guys. And we're going to get a short break. And then we're going to go into Jeremy versus P.uri.Tanner. Heyo, thanks for the raid, Human. Welcome to the channel, everybody. As we're just about to jump into Jeremy versus Tanner here in the Division 2 action, actually. Division 1 semifinals gonna happen next weekend. But it's Jeremy versus Tanner here, so exciting stuff as well. So hello everybody and welcome to the first semifinal game being played this season. And it's coming out of Division 2, and it's coming out of two well-known figures in the community. On the left side, a veteran all the way since Steel Division 2 times, and really, really strong results so far in the long history of over 3 years by now of WARNO tournaments with P.uri.Tanner. And on the other side, a newer face here, but a well-known face by now nonetheless, and Zxcvster, aka Jeremy, coming along here on the red side. And they bring us a matchup that is looking pretty hot as well, as Tanner comes in with 20th Panzerna here on the left side. A really strong division with a lot of play lately. Good combined arms around T-72s. And on the other side, we have a couple of T-72s as well. but they're coming with the Rügener Gruppierung, a division that is seen as pretty weak, usually.
The worst. Let's go. The worst back division, straight up. Like, what's worse than it? Like, come on, it is the worst back division.
It has,
Certainly.
there is Berliner Gruppierung, and then there is also a lot of practice around this division lately with Jeremy practicing with Skiffig, I believe, on it. Cyrillus Gunther obviously is a big fan of this as well, so it's going to be interesting what the plan is going to be here. Like, this seems like practicing the party trick quite a lot, and let's see what party trick Zxcvster has up here with that, as we are about to meet each other here in the middle. It's on the other side. No tanks at all. Maljutkas, Scots, and ZURJ coming in here in good numbers. We have Rush Specialny rushing through here towards center as well from the get-go. Game starting really quickly here, so this should be really exciting.
Proto, look at the routing of all of Tanner's southwest forces. Look at the routing. Is this a misclick? What's happening here?
This is something, at least. This could go horribly wrong. I hope Tanner has the game open up with rerouting. Okay, rerouting is happening. One click at a time. Victory 3 here in the middle. So yeah, let's go on with all of this and let's see how this all goes. On the other side, we have KSKs coming in, the special forces, the Kampfschimmerkommando of the East Germans, next to the Fallschirmjäger, the special forces of the NVA, and they have a decent amount of firepower. They are only 7 men, but they have double LMG and the AKSU, so plus satchel charges, so you don't want to fight them 1v1. But yeah, the movement here towards center, that should work out for Tanner. The movement around Feodor, yeah, everything has been rerouted now, so let's freaking go.
Yeah, KSK, not to be mixed with the other KSK, the Kommando Spezialkräfte, who I believe have been disbanded due to reasons regarding some historical reenactments, things that they were doing in Afghanistan. But yeah, so far, Tanner here is playing quite a regular 20th Panzer meta, 20th Panzerna meta, with the Honker Rust going and using the superior speed to reach the center, the sawmill position, taking it up, taking the area there and gaining the point lead from that. Now there are no T-72s here really, but the line is held by Maljutkas and Fagots, which are all enough to fight against even the Rügener's heaviest equipment. And I think this is a situation where we're going to see Tanner attempt a very classic and standard two-pronged tactic, which is very light, very like defensive and very fast opener, followed up with a fast build-up of reasonably cheap tanks.
3 LIM Lim 6Ms coming in here. The rocket planes that are dirt cheap, quick reload, and can deal decent amount of damage with their speed. They run the BRDM 2 down now. They were first trying to go for the Rust specialties in the north, were now put towards the south, kill the BRDM. Getting a decent kill there will come around later, and you have to be careful with your planes on the other side, because the Krug is on the battlefield already, and eventually it will catch you. So you can't chase down those helicopters all that deep. And yeah, the north for Tanner is looking pretty nice. BRDM now moving there. The PT-76 is in the way there, so that has to be found first, but that seems to be spotted now. And in the same time, yeah, the southern engagement here, it's interesting to see no tanks at all out of Tanner. Though, I guess T-72s, they don't have max range, and you have the 3,000 meter range AT helicopter on the other side. So, using T-72s here efficiently is somewhat tougher maybe than on other maps, so it kind of makes sense. AA gun trying to fight the BT-76. Lim 6 here moving around, trying to find some rocket shots. BRDM moving around the BT-76 now. Scott 2A and ZUR engaging it, stressing it out, getting it stunned down, and maybe even killing it outright there. Whilst the BRDM 2 is moving around. Lim 6 finds the kill against the Specialny, and that's pretty annoying. More AA coming in, including some coups, as yeah, those will need to go down eventually. But So far, a decent start for Tanner. Let's see where this all goes.
Yeah, Tanner is kind of obviously investing into turtling right now, buying 3 cubes, 2 Yod AA guns, and now even a Shilka, as well as some recon. So no tanks coming in here. We're almost 5 minutes in, and still no sign of the heavy equipment. Just trying to recognizing that Jeremy does play these divisions with the air spam in mind. Air spam is one of the only things that you can actually do out here. And with the very special KMGU bomber here, which has multiple different bomb loads, and Jeremy is microing the weaponry to drop only parts of the bomb load at the time, and getting these getting as much out of them as possible. Now the 2 cubes opening fire against the limb, missing completely with the bow shots, and this plane has 0 ECM. And right now the information has been given. The enemy does have heavy anti-air. I don't remember if Rugener has seed. I don't think they do. But and now Tanner investing into a Dana artillery gun, all of this before investing into the tanks. And as you said, the T-72Ms are not that great fighting and on defense anyways, because they don't have the proper fire control to aim at long ranges. But just having those things around here would still be worthwhile, I think, considering you're gonna you're gonna be fighting the enemy attack sooner or later, and at this point the limbs are a nuisance, but the cubes should be enough to deal with them. I like to see Tanner actually putting you see the honkers moving northeast and taking ambush positions all around the place. Love to see this. I don't think I've ever actually seen this, but the Honker Rus and the Delta Humvee being the special forces vehicles, they gain so great buffs and they're so fast. I love to see players trying to utilize them to their full potential.
Yeah, Zxcvster coming in here now, getting the capture on Feodor, will stop the take. And we have the Dana on the battlefield. The Leams have been reduced by 2 by now. The Coop's getting 2 good hits there. And shooting 2 down. The Dana now getting involved towards the KSK with accurate shots, so it will deal decent damage even from longer ranges. It's not the most amazing long range artillery. You want to get it a bit closer usually because its maximum range is somewhat limited in its damage there. But now T-55A is coming in from Tanner. Tanner actually wants to play the T-55 versus T-55 game, I guess, as on the other side we see the Meridas. Interested to see that there are not immediately T-72s. I feel like that would be the better idea still in this matchup, just outclassing the stuff the other side can bring around. Lim 6M here, still trying to come around. Next one gets shot down. The last one here coming through, but gets shot down as well without getting a kill. So, yeah, they are down now. That's fine. They are really cheap, so you don't have to worry all that much about them. And when they go down, they go down. KSK in the middle, though, underfired by the set UR. So that's a good engagement here for Tanner. Engaging special forces with those good AT guns that can just shred them really quickly. The 23mm AA gun there, doing a great job. And this is good pressure here from Tanner. I would like to see the Dana on it as well, but that one is still maneuvering around.
The first T-72 is a leader coming for Tanner and is going down south, which is predictable. So Tanner in this game and in our league has been one of our favorite players because of its ability to basically find out certain tactics, certain units, and perform so well with them, and that they become the meta. They've never been a dominant player, not in the way of a Pro Komi or Yukipo or whatever, but they obviously have a very great sense of the game, and we have seen 20 and Pancherna being the division of T-72 spam of let's get the recon helicopters and the honkers and the Rospecialne to go out there in the front and then just keep on printing out the T-72s to fight the fights for you. But right now, I think we're seeing something specifically designed for Black Forest, the immediate push up north and to take the one zone that is contested by is taken by the player with the better forward deployment. The immediate movement into, instead of the tanks, investing into the Danas and investing into pretty significant like recon coverage. There are recon all around the place, and I love to see there's even the 25-point OT65 recon transport around here. The constantly getting out these yacht AA guns with the combined Strela and the 23 millimeters, even more Malutkas and even more helicopters out here, and just not playing it like the like an armored division, at least not in the first 10 minutes. I'm very excited to see if Tanner actually wins this. And Jeremy's party trick, whatever it may be, still doesn't seem to be showing. The engagements that have been had haven't been anything that particular. The air spam, which I believe he used to try to play Berliner, actually played Berliner air spam against me once and completely ruined me, of course. But the limbs here, I don't think they have been getting enough damage done to justify the mid-game lack of tempo here.
Yeah, they get more job done in the north though, and there is an interesting combined arms there. With UARTs, with KPVTs, with a lot of MGs in general, the SPW ZPU2s that have a double 14.5mm on top coming around there as well. The honkers in the rear from Tanner not really doing super much yet. The KGM GU going down. The SU-22 rockets here trying to come in, trying to retaliate. Krug is around though, so both SU-22s here getting pushed back before getting super much done, but the kill on the KMGU is really nice, and KSK goes down in the south. T-72MD is getting back the capture, but is Tanner fast enough at reinforcing the north? I'm not sure. Center might fall here, and then Tanner is the one that has to get Feodor the whole time to keep it equal. Has a decent point advantage by now, but it's not a massive one by any means, even for Black Forest, and that might get problematic here if the north falls to the center push that is coming up out of Jeremy right now.
Yeah, the honkers are all in positions to be completely hidden. They are in an infiltration mission, not doing an ambush job here, I don't think. The attack supported by the dual artillery guns is happening right now on the middle. The defenses are infantry fortified in buildings in quite predictable locations, so the Danas with their 6 salvo and their fast-firing autoloader guns can do good damage here. SPWs moving out there to try to avoid this. And if there was just a single tank, if the T-55A was in position, these SPWs could maybe be taken out. But losing an AA gun against them is due to the lack of fire support. Now Tanner actually rerouting the command tank and supporting light vehicles to move as extra fire support up there in the middle, with the artillery once again firing at the targets, but the artillery is actually blind.
I wanted to pull it into the rear zone. Tanner had a really good idea there with a Mi-24 in the rear zone of Zxcvster, but Jeremy found it and got the Mi-24 on target. Otherwise, that rear line helicopter could have been really nice. At the same time, Jeremy finally clearing out center. Really big move there. Stops the tick now, so Tanner now needs to find the game somewhere else. Is reinforcing there and trying to get the kill there. Pretty annoying, but yeah, that helo flank from Tanner, really interesting. T-55 is now cleaning it up though, clearing even out the Honkaroos, so that attempt kind of failing, and at the same time Tanner, yeah, struggling a bit in the south as well, giving it up now for full-on push into the middle, the T-72MD rotating around, and that might work out still, as there is maybe not enough around at Bravo here. Only 1 infantry for Tanner as well, though, to push this whole zone while still special forces are inside. So it's not going to be easy, but it is possible. Concourse goes down. Limb 6 comes around here. Most likely going to go to die. As, yeah, Coops can find the kill there. But Tanner giving up the flanks here and going all out into the middle is an interesting choice. It's not a bad choice per se, but it for sure shifts the whole dynamic of the game completely again.
Yeah, I think if you manage to get your enemy invested into fighting up north and then instead yourself transition into tanks and try to win middle and the south via long-range tank fights. I think that's a good deal, good plan. I'm sorry for the Trumpism here, but what Jeremy did was absolutely not overinvestment up north. The units that we're seeing here, the ZPU2s, the PT-76s, the Strelas, the T-55s, this is all cheap stuff. And getting that northern position out with the cheap stuff was exactly the way to try to not overinvest, not walk into the possible trap that is being built by Tanner here. Tanner is still deeply into the T-55s as fire support, even having one of them guarding his backline, actually. And the fact that there are that the T-72, 15 minutes in, the T-72 numbers are not out there, and instead the tank supremacy is being held by the Polish Merida T-55s. That might develop into a problem. The Meridas can push against the Maljutkas and can push against the Fagots and all the rest of the units here, but they cannot do that against a single T-72.
Yeah, Saperji and T-72s here did a decent amount of damage in the center, but the Scott 2As got cleaned out there now. And the push of Tanner, I didn't expect Tanner to try to go back into center, but that's maybe what Tanner thought would be in the mind of Jeremy as well, that pushing back in there is not the way to go usually, so trying to play off that idea, but yeah, it failed completely here. Jeremy has enough forces up there, and that is developing pretty badly for Tanner here right now. A lot of units lost there, only a couple of units killed off on the other side, and air units now going maybe a bit deep as well. Can find a MiG-23 though, so this all might be worth it after all. Krug not getting a kill here yet. The Dana still active non-stop, trying to find some T-55s actually, as the BMP-1 there still helping out. But the T-55 going low, but not quite going down. So this game here developing interestingly. It's back on a +2 now for red side, and that is for sure a problem in the long run for Tanner, who maybe should have invested more into the center push, into Boris, as if those forces would have been there, he would be in Boris right now.
Yeah, the counterattack up north was not the correct option. I don't think these positions are just so powerful once you've captured them, and the recon advantage gives you the right of first shot with your ATGMs. And if you're attacking T-55s, they are vulnerable to all ATGMs. And losing the southern position, even when you have so many such numbers as Tanner, only to the smoke mortar and the occasional peek in by Jeremy's troops, now forcing Tanner to send in a BMP-1 out there, which could survive. Okay, Tanner actually firing smoke to cover it to stop the tick here, but there is no counter-attacking position. The force of heavy tanks was never built up here, and there is now 1, 2, 3, 4 Meridas in the middle here, and that's an attacking force. You send some recon and some infantry to find the enemy, and you send your 4 Meridas supported by artillery to get to do the damage. The turtling strategy of Tanner, with the very surprising fighting over the northern position, just doesn't seem to be prepared for a middle counterattack from Jeremy.
Yeah, we have the BMP-1 in the south getting the capture, getting out now. Tanner still slightly ahead in points, but still super invested into the northern point, which I find peculiar, to say the least. I also find it interesting that the Honkers never actually tried to shoot anything yet. One is still in the rear. I like that one. That one is just there for scouting. I'm fine with that. I think the other one maybe should try to shoot something and get a bit more involved.
Maybe they're out there trying to spot helicopters and planes.
Yeah, that could be. We see T-55A now being the target of the artillery. The Danas doing a great job so far. They are constantly active. They are constantly annoying. They barely didn't get the kill into the D-30 in the rear. That was a bit annoying there for Tanner maybe. But outside of that, they are doing their job. Maybe we'll get the T-55. Most likely we'll get a T-55 kill there, as the first 2 shots land pretty good there. And yeah, get a kill. Cluster SU-22 on the other side, though, likely will get a kill onto the T-55s on the other side, or the BMP-1, or both. Okay, BMP-1 leader it is, so that's a good counter kill there. Ooh, SU-22 nearly going down, MiG-21 on the hunt. but MiG-21 turning away, flying into the Krug, and there is a Krug explosion that we want to see here, as the roulette finally pays off. And now the Danas getting involved towards the south, as they see the smoke, trying to hit the UWATs that is still in there, but maybe aiming a bit too late, as the UWATs most likely will be able to capture and move out before the Danas can land on target.
Yeah. Jeremy once again doing the old-fashioned, so smoking and driving the command in there, but Tanner was waiting for this, pre-aiming 2 salvos in there against the car.
Ah, what? Why are they not hitting? Why are they not getting the kill? There we go. UWATs goes down. Merida gets hit pretty badly there as well. The Malyutkas here still holding the line, and Tanner gets a BMP in there immediately. Oh no, STU-32 cluster though for the T-72 in the middle. Gets the kill there, the Coops. Not in position to fire as they were trying to move through the town and they don't have line of sight there. So Tanner losing an important CV there as well. A more important one than the UWATs in the south. And another MiG-21 here getting too close to Krugs. Another Krug kill. This is not that interesting. And Yachts and co moving around here. MiG-23 not getting shut down. And yeah, it's the combined arms of Rügener is weird. And Rügener is a tough division to play. The Merida buff helped him out a bit. There were a couple of other buffs lately that helped him out slightly. I still wouldn't say it's a great division, but it might be the right division for the matchup. As we start to see Jeremy here holding on against the cheap combined arms on the other side. And you can be so annoying with Rügener here, and that's what we see here. BMP2s now coming in for the north though. BT-76 might get a kill there without being spotted, but 4 BMP2s is a scary force.
Yeah, and finally 2 T-72 M1s also coming to actually into the town. I'd say Tanner having those coups out of position was a huge mistake. There was potential with 3 coups to punish those, take out the crucial enemy planes, and just having the buildings block the line of sight. That's really bad. Over the KMGU is dropping down up north, taking out 1 infantry squad here.
Yeah, the AA planes, 2 of them went down to the Krug by flying too close, so they are not around here now. The Coops, 2 of them out of ammo, so the MiG-23 might escape here as well. No, gets shut down by the final Krug round. So, Coop round, so good kill there by Tanner. Has some T-55s here in the middle, is putting up for pressure to build there again. The Danas are around as well, getting resupplied now. And Tanner has the BMP2s in the north. One of them went down. It doesn't quite have the recon up there where it might need to be, but is now pushing into the north nonetheless. The Mi-2 Yorns coming in on the other side. Su-22 cluster coming in there. Pretty clutch as well. T-55A and BRM-1 disengaging. And another smoke is around here for the southern part of the map coming in from Jeremy. Trying to capture Feodor. Trying to get the push in points ahead of Tanner.
Yep. Just one more old-fashioned, one more smoke and drive the commander in, but are the Danas gonna react? The Danas are not. They are in frontline duty here, trying to attack the middle, and a T-55 Merida actually pushing in from Jeremy really close and recognizing this is risky and not pushing any further. This is there's a really nice. I mean, look at this. The idea here from Jeremy seems to be that if the enemy drives anything into anything close there, the T-55 will get an immediate side shot. Now, is the BMP leader going there? Not immediately.
Yeah, the Danas now getting involved with good hits into the center. KSKs have to run there quickly, otherwise the autoloader artillery will get them. One goes down anyway, so good shots there by the Danas. And at the same time, in the north, good trades for Tanner on the ground, but he still got hit with another cluster around there. Has to get maybe some more AA up there. Yeah, a lot of Shilkas actually moving there now. As Tanner is trying to get 4 Shilkas into that fight. The obsession with the center point I still find a bit weird, but it actually might pay out in the long run. At the same time, Merida's over pushing maybe a bit in the south, but having enough smoke to fall back into. The Danas need to get a couple more shots out here, but T-55A now Might take out the Merida. Oh, it misses. The T-55A misses its shot. The Merida gets the hit, so now it's pretty low, and yeah, it misses another time, and might go down there in a second. One Merida going down in the south, though. S-32 rocket here coming around again. With the crooks around, the S-32 is playing a dangerous game, and it goes down here. Yeah, bringing anything into the crooks there is really suicidal. But it was around from earlier, so that is fine. Now the crew's getting targeted as the Danas will reposition, and the infantry setup here for the center. Tanner is looking pretty solid there, now with the T-72 M1 coming in, getting the kill onto the Merida. Only one Merida with really low hit points left, and that's now Tanner's go sign for the center. And that can be devastating if Jeremy loses the whole town there. MiG-23 fighter going down as well. This is a lot of red units dying in really short succession. Crook going down to the artillery. Second Crook barely staying alive. And oh boy, Jeremy suffering a lot here.
Yeah, now is this because the T-72s and the BMP-2s are on board right now? I wouldn't say, but maybe this is just a coincidence that Tanner starts winning once these units are up here. Now, a bunch of Mi-2 urns were ordered up north here, and they are just out of the firing range of the Shilkas, and the Zxcvster realizes this is a risky area and is moving them down south, but they're going to be taken maybe by the Yod. The passing Yod fire might take out a helicopter. No, they actually don't. The line of sight is too bad here. Now, infantry reinforcements coming in to the red half of the middle position, and don't confuse it with the northern central position. But yeah, now there's only a single Sapersi, two Sapersi, and a Piekolta Schmeck to fight off the infantry counterattack. And if there is something about the East German infantry, it is simply better. Just straight up wins the fights against the Polish infantry and would win those fights even if they weren't on zero vet. That is why the T-72s here need to stay alive. There is a bunch of coups right behind them to prevent the cluster bombers from getting results, but this is now very risky. We don't know how many T-72s Tanner actually has in the deck. Two T-55AS coffin launchers coming out here as well, which I think for this same price, you could similar prices, you could probably get the stronger tanks as well. And but you know, who knows? Maybe the twin coffin launchers actually get enough firepower to break through this.
Yeah, the coffin launchers can take out ATGMs here in the middle, can really be devastating in that center zone. They won't help you much at Feodor, but they can get you Boris. And yeah, they're both coming in here in the center. One is already there, so it's 3 coffin launchers coming in here for Tanner with a gust. So he can basically take out all buildings that Red Side has in the middle with one salvo if he gets in range. That is a big potential for blowing this up. They have a decent reload time as well, that maybe you could just rotate them north after you blow up Boris, as Tanner gets back into a +1 situation here, is behind in points a bit, but the situation here might swing around decently quickly now. ATGM's coming around, the Dana's still here as well, so yeah, the Polish division here starting to get some good jobs done. Still has a lot of forces in front of center, but not the infantry to follow it up with.
Yeah, I think Tanner, I seem to be realizing what Tanner is doing up north. The point there isn't necessarily to take the zone, it is to siege it and keep sieging it. And in this way, if their enemy does a catastrophic breakthrough at any point, Tanner can immediately switch up the offensive button, press the offensive button up north, and try to use the remaining forces to cut off the enemy tick. Right now on +2, there is the attacks that are happening up north are very minimal, with